Hey guys, it's Thomas here with Technovision, and welcome to episode 3 of our tutorial series on how to create a custom cryptocurrency from scratch. And in this episode, we finally get to do the fun stuff, which is so exciting. And we're going to be mining our first Genesis block, getting the first reward of your cryptocurrency, and also changing some blockchain parameters that are important to customize it. So, first thing you're going to want to do is go to your desktop here in Ubuntu in your virtual machine, and find your folder here, your TechnoCoin folder, or whatever you named your coin. Go to source, and instead of source, we're going to search for main.cpp. And you can double click to open this, and once you're inside, you want to open this drop down menu, go to line, and we're going to line 1090. Hit enter, and over here you can see some important parameters for your coin. This is how you're going to customize it, make it different from Litecoin, because we are using that base code. So over here, first, we want to change the get block value. And this right here, this 50 that you see, is the reward that you get whenever you mine a block. So, I won't go into how mining really works because it's too complicated for this video. There's lots of videos out there on that if you're confused. But essentially, when you mine a block of your coin, in this case, TechnoCoin, you will get 50 coins, 50 visions, as what I named them. So to make this different from Litecoin, I am going to halve this. I'm going to halve all the values just to make it different. But again, you can do your own math and decide whatever you want for all of these values. But I'm going to make mine 25. So that is the amount of coins you'll get when you mine the first block. And now we have to change the halving, like when the blocks, the block reward will halve. So in the case of Litecoin, every 840,000 blocks that are mined, the subsidy that you get is cut in half. And for mine, since I have the reward, I'm just going to have this as well, which would be 420,000, I believe. So what this is saying, I'll just repeat again, every 420,000 blocks that are mined, this value right here will be cut in half until eventually it's basically 0, in which case no more new coins will be minted. Now you also have the opportunity to change the target time span and the target spacing. And what this is saying right here is essentially the readjust difficulty. So it's saying every 3.5 days, check to see if you need to readjust the difficulty. And in this case, I'll just change it to 3 because I don't really care too much. Only change the first value in both of these. You don't want to touch the remaining or the subsequent values. And for this one, I'll just change it to 2. What this one is saying down here, the target spacing, this is essentially adjust the target block time. So again, it's based on the natural ebb and flow of when people are mining your coin, but this is basically saying that it should, parentheses around should, take 2.5 minutes to mine a block of your coin. And in this case, mine is 2, and it'll readjust every 3 days or so. So we can save this, and we are done with main.cpp for now, and we can exit out. And over in your search bar, you're going to want to type main.h. And you can double click on main.h to open it up. And inside of here, the first thing we need to find, if you scroll all the way up to the top, and we just scroll down a little bit, we want to find max_money. Here we go, right here. Just a little bit down from the top, max_money. Now what this is saying right here is the max amount of coins that can ever be mined. So in the case of Litecoin, I believe this is 84 million coins. So there will never be more than 84 million coins in circulation. Again, because I halved all my values, in the other one, that's what I'm going to do here just to keep it consistent. So I believe, again, this is 84 million, so it'd be 42 million. So again, my coin will never have more than 42 million coins. You can change it to whatever you'd like. And then next we need to change the Coinbase maturity, which is down here. And what this is saying, this value, is essentially, in the case with this 100 right here, you cannot spend your newly minted block reward, whatever coins you got from mining, until 100 blocks have passed. So in this case, you're probably gonna have to wait kind of a long time before you can spend your newly minted coins. I'm gonna change this to 10. Just so it's a lot smaller. The reason you'd want it higher is for security reasons, to make sure that your, enough blocks have been processed to prove that your blockchain is secure. But I think 10, because this is a test coin, is fine, but change it to whatever you'd like as well. So next we need to go to this drop down menu and go to line, and we're going to line 627, I believe. hit enter. And right here, there's a D priority coin. This is what we need to change, this value right here. So you can leave it as is if you're not, too keen on doing the math that I'm about to do. But essentially, you're gonna take your target time and your target spacing values, and you're gonna do some math with that. So what this value is affecting is how quickly all of your blocks will be mined. So by the end, this value is dictating essentially the end date where no new coins will be minted. So in my case, I set a target time span of 3 days, and there's 1,440 minutes per day, and times 3 because 3 days, that's 4,320. And if you divide that by 2 minutes, which is my target spacing, that should give me 2,160. So 2,160. And again, if you don't know what the target time span and the spacing are, you can go to main.cpp, and it's right here. We just changed it, the time span and the spacing. This is that value, the days and the minutes that we just changed. So that's what I'm doing the math on, essentially. But feel free to leave it how it is, because I know that sometimes that can be very confusing. But after that, we are done with main.h, so we can actually close out of here. But we're gonna have to go back to main.cpp, so good thing I brought it up. Go search main.cpp again, double click, and inside of here, we're going to click the drop-down menu, go to line, and we will be going to line 2,794, and hit enter. Now you wanna scroll up a bit, just a tiny bit, up to n value. And you see this 50 here, times coin. So instead of 50, what you want is to plug in whatever value you put for your n value in the main.h. So in my case, it was 25 because I halved it. So just plug in whatever you put there. And if we scroll down a little bit, here we go. You can see we have the hash Merkel root right here, which we're gonna have to fix. And we also need to fix the end time, both in the testnet and the mainnet. This right here is time in epic time. So we need to get a new epic time that is more relative to when we're making this right now. So let's go to terminal. Don't know why I got rid of my terminal. There we go. And we can actually, in our terminal, just type date space plus the %sign and S, and hit enter, and this will get the current epic time. So we can copy this and paste it into our testnet, Control V, and we can do it again real quick. Just do it again, and this will be our mainnet time. Copy and paste. Cool, so once both of these end times are done, then we need to change the timestamp. So if you scroll up a little bit, down a bit, there you go, right? Just a little bit above, you can see this New York Times, Steve Jobs, Apple visionary dies at 56. So it's customary to attach a timestamp with some sort of headline news article or something relevant in the world to your first block, so that it can kind of be looked back on as like sort of a time capsule. So just delete this, and you can put whatever you'd like, but generally, as is customary, we'd put the date. So in this case, it's 1/14/2020, and then maybe like I'm gonna put a silly one. Techno Vision hits over 1 million views. Woo! So this is our headline, and we have the date here, just so everyone knows when the first block was mined. And just save this really quickly. So now we need to deal with the Merkel Roots. So if we just scroll down just a little bit, right here, you can see block.hash Merkel root. We need to delete everything in this string up until 0x. So just leave that 0x right there, and you can save this. And we're gonna generate a new Merkel root that we can actually put in here. So in order to do that, let's minimize main.cpp. And in our terminal, we have to cd to desktop, then cd into our coin folder, so Technocoin is mine, and cd into the src folder. And we can just clear this really quickly. And inside of here, once we're cd'd into our source folder, we're gonna have to type make-f makefile.unix. And again, just as before, this will build our project, compile it again. So this will take, again, a very long time, probably anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes based on the RAM you allocated. So I'll see you guys when it's done. Now that your program is done compiling, we can now generate our Merkel root by typing /technocoin_d. So this is the name of your coin with the letter D on the end, and hit enter. And what we're looking for here is this core dumped. We want a failure, that's good, because we don't actually have a Merkel root in there right now, so it'll generate one for us. So if you see this aborted core dumped, then that means you did it right, and everything's good. And now we can actually go into our directory to find it. So I'm just going to minimize this real quick. And in our little directory here, you can find this by clicking on the files application over here on the left. In here, we want to go to, I believe it's home. And in our home, we can hit Control H. And that will, as you can see, show hidden files. And now we should be able to see .technocoin. So it'll be whatever the name of your coin is. You can double click that. And I think it's in the debug log. Yeah, so open the debug log and scroll all the way down. And you can see right here, this last string right at the bottom. This is our hash Merkel root. So you can right click and copy this. And you can go up to main.cpp, back to where we were. And if you remember, this is right here is where we deleted the Merkel root. Right after the 0x, you can right click and paste it in. And that is our new Merkel root. So we can save. So now we can actually create the Genesis block itself, but we need the code to do that. So if you go in the description, there should be a paste bin, and it will be paste bin number 3. And you can scroll down a bit, and right here, this if statement is where we want to start copying. And just copy all the way down, right about here to where it ends. The paste bin will just end. You can right click, copy, minimize out of this. And we want to paste this code right below this if testnet, this little if statement right here. So just make a few spaces and right click, paste, and it'll all get pasted in there. And if you scroll up a little bit, you can see this is where that if testnet was before we pasted it. We want to change this false to true so that we make sure that the code actually executes in this case. So you can save now. And next we need to delete the mainnet hash and the testnet hash so that this code will generate new ones for us. So scroll up just a little bit. I am not entirely sure where it is. There it is. Okay. When you see this hash Genesis block, this is what you want to delete, is this hash right here. Delete, just like with the Merkel hash, the Merkel root, I mean, all the way up to the 0x. Delete, save, and we can scroll all the way up to the very top and then down a little bit. And you can see right here we have the mainnet hash Genesis block. We can just delete all of this up until the 0x, just like before. Save. And now what we're going to do here is the same thing we did with the Merkel root. We're going to compile and run our program so that it purposely fails and the core dumps. And then we'll check in the debug log to find these hashes. So you can minimize out of this for right now, or I guess you could just leave it up. Go to your terminal. Search terminal. And inside of your terminal, here we go. You're going to want to, again, CD to your desktop. CD to the name of your coin, so TechnoCoin is mine. And then CD to the SRC folder. You can clear real quick. And inside of here, again, we have to compile, so type make-f makefile.unix. And again, this will take quite a long time, so I'll see you guys when it's done. Alright, so now that our program has compiled correctly, now we need to actually run the executable to mine the Genesis block. So what you're going to type here is / the name of your coin, TechnoCoin, and add a D on the end, just like last time. And we're actually going to add a flag here, so add a space, then -testnet. And this is going to make sure that we mine the testnet the testnet Genesis block, not the mainnet one. And just to let you know, depending on the specs of your computer, this can take anywhere from 10 minutes or 1 minute really to an hour. So just be prepared to wait for a long time, and really you do not want to interrupt this process because it will break the program. So hit enter, and I will see you guys when it's done. All right, and you can see here that it says aborted core dumped, which is a good thing. And what we essentially did here is mine the Genesis block of our testnet. So we actually mined the block itself and found the hash. And we need to actually get that hash. So if we minimize this, that took about 12 minutes, by the way, just for reference. And if we go to our files over here, the file directory, remember we have that secret.technocoin folder, and go to testnet and the debug log. And in the debug log, if you scroll down, you can actually see, yeah, so these are all the hashes that your computer generated trying to find the correct hash. This is basically your computer mining the first Genesis block. And all the way down here at the bottom, if you scroll all the way down, we have, these are the two important values we need, the end nonce right here and the actual hash itself right there. So first, let's do the nonce values, since that's pretty simple. Right click and copy this end nonce value, go back to main.cpp, and remember that we have to go to line 2800, and right here in the testnet, so this is the testnet end nonce, so make sure it's in the if testnet if statement, and just delete this end nonce and right click and paste it in, and you can hit save. And we'll do the mainnet end nonce when we generate that one, because we'll have to do that separately. So now that you're done with the end nonce for the testnet, go back to the debug log, and we want to get the hash right here. This is the hash. Right click, copy, it's the .get hash. So once you've copied this string, go back to main.cpp and scroll up just a tiny bit, and where is it? Right here, hash Genesis block. Right after the 0x, right click, paste, and that is the correct hash. Hit save, and now that we've finished the testnet Genesis block hash, we can close this debug log and go back to our terminal, and we have to do all of that all over again, but for the mainnet, because they are two separate things. This testnet is just to sort of test things. It doesn't actually affect your coin. So we can hit clear just to make some space, and we're gonna have to compile again. I'm not sure if you have to, but it's good practice anyway. So type make-f makefile.unix, hit enter, and it will compile again, and I'll see you guys when it's done compiling. Okay, it's done compiling, and we can do the same thing we did before by typing /technocoin D, so the name of your coin with a D on the end, and we're not going to add a flag this time. This is going to be the main net. So, and remember, this will take anywhere from 1 minute to an hour depending on your specs, and also the randomness of the mining. So hit enter, and I will be back when it's done. Okay, that was a quick one just out of luck, but we did get the aborted core dumped, which is good. And we can again minimize this, go back to our file directory, go to home, go to .technocoin, and instead of testnet, we're just going to go to the actual official debug log. Double click that, and again, these are all the hashes that your computer generated. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, and at the very bottom, again, we have the end nonce and the hash. So we can copy the end nonce value, right click, copy, go to our main.cpp, again, go to line 2800, and instead of the testnet end nonce, we're replacing the mainnet. So up here, right above the testnet, this block.end nonce, just delete that value and right click and paste it in and save. And then go back to your debug log, and we want to get the hash value right here, this .get hash, right click, copy, and remember that the mainnet one is all the way at the top of the file. So scroll all the way up to the top, and then just down a little bit from there. And remember, we have this hash Genesis block. So right after the 0x, again, right click, paste, and save. Now we've only got one more step until we can access our graphical interface, which is going to be super exciting. So you can get out of debug.log, I believe, and stay in main.cpp for right now. Go to your desktop and find your coin directory, in my case, TechnoCoin, and then go to src and search, and you want to search for checkpoints.cpp. Right here, you can open this up, and it'll open up next to your main.cpp here. And if you scroll down just a little bit from the top, you can see all of these things here. These essentially are checkpoints for the Litecoin network, and they're to stop like brute force attacks, but we don't need them because we're not on the Litecoin network. So delete all of these up to the first one. Make sure you keep the first one, the one with the 1,500 before it. So delete those, and we're gonna actually modify this to our own personal network. So this right here is the block height, and because we don't have any blocks yet except for the Genesis block, we just want this to be 0. So just change that to 0. And you're also gonna wanna delete this right here, all the way up to the 0x. This is the hash, the ones that we just generated actually. So this is the mainnet, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, this is the mainnet. So we need to find our mainnet hash. So go back to main.cpp, scroll all the way up to the top. And remember, all the way at the top, we have this hash Genesis block here. Just copy after the 0x, just copy this, the hash we just generated. Go back to checkpoints.cpp and just paste it right there and save real quick. All right, so that's good. Now we need to mess with these details. So here we have the timestamp of when our last block was mined. So this is incorrect as well because it's Litecoin based. So go to your main.cpp, find or go to line 2800 again. And remember, we have the end time here and the testnet time here. So go up to the mainnet end time right here, block.end time, right click, copy, and go back to checkpoints. And instead of this number right here, we can delete that, right click, and paste. And that is our new time, which is accurate to our network. We also need to get rid of this, which is the total number of transactions between Genesis and the last checkpoint, because we do not have any transactions after the Genesis block. We'll just put 0 here. And finally, right here, we have the estimated number of transactions per day after checkpoint. This is exactly what it sounds like. Whatever you estimate to be the estimated number of transactions per checkpoint. Again, this is kind of, estimate based, but it's to stop brute force attacks. So I would just put 20. Just put 20 for now. You can always go back and change this and recompile, but 20 seems like a good amount to me. So after this, we can save. And we need to do this again, but for the testnet here. So scroll down a little bit to the testnet, and again, the block height, delete and change it to 0. We also need to delete the hash after 0x. And we need to find our testnet hash, so go back to main.cpp. And again, line 2800, we're already here though. If we scroll up just a little bit, remember that here we go, this is our testnet hash. Oh wait, yes, this is the testnet hash, just making sure. Right before the 0x, or right after it, I'm sorry, copy, go back to checkpoints.cpp, and paste right after the 0x. There we go, that's all good. And then again, just like we did here, we have to do the same thing down here with our checkpoint data. So for the timestamp, go back to main.cpp, scroll down a little bit. Again, line 2800 if you're lost, that's where we are right now. And we want the testnet time. So if testnet block.end time, right click, copy, back to checkpoints. I know this is super tedious, but delete this value here, right click and paste. And then again, total number of transactions after Genesis is 0. And just make this last one the same as you put here. So in my case, 20.0. And we can save, and we're actually done with all the steps for this episode. Now we're going to actually compile the graphical interface so you can see your coin in action, which is super exciting. So we can exit out of all of this because we're done now. And we can exit out of this, all of the windows, and go to your terminal again. So we're searching for terminal. And in the terminal, once again, we have to go cd desktop, capital D, and cd the name of your coin, so techno coin. And I think we can actually do this we don't have to go to source. Yeah, we can just do it in techno coin. So in here, instead of how you normally compile it, we're going to compile with Graphical Resources. So what you want to do once you're in desktop and in your coin directory, not source, just your main coin directory, type qmake, enter, and that will build a few things. Don't worry about if there's any errors, it should be okay. And then after this, we're gonna type just make. Hit enter, and it'll start building with all the graphical resources. And from now on, when you wanna compile, you'll type qmake and then make. And again, this will include all of the graphical resources. So I'll be right back when this is done. And it's finally done compiling. So now if we type ls and hit enter, you can see that we do actually have technocoin-qt, which is a new executable with the graphical resources. And hopefully this is the moment we've all been waiting for. So hopefully this works out. We can type period slash, and then, basically this executable technocoin-qt. Hit enter, and there we go. You didn't get to see it, but that was the splash screen right there. And this is the graphical version of your wallet, your coin. So you can see here that it's out of sync, and it's pretty far behind and it doesn't really have any block source information. Don't worry, we'll be dealing with all of this. We'll also be setting up a node because right now there's no active connections. But you can see that everything is working pretty well. There is a send button to send people your coins. There's a receive button so you can receive them. This is your little address right here. And you have an address book. So everything that you'd find in a Litecoin wallet, you've got here. And again, just like we customized, they're called visions instead of LTC for Litecoin. So let's just make sure really quick, if we exit out of this, let's just make sure that the testnet works as well. So I probably should have done that first, but whatever. We're gonna type period slash technocoin-qt space dash testnet. Again, with that testnet flag, hit enter. And yep, there we go. The testnet one is working as well. So perfect. Now you've got a working wallet, and the coin doesn't work fully yet, but in the next episode, we'll be talking about how to mine your own coins and how to actually spend them and use them with other people. So yeah, thanks guys so much for watching. I know it was a bit of a long episode, but I will see you guys in the next episode.